I always wonder, like, man, because I've met some, Christians. We're normal people like everybody else, but I think there's some misconceptions about Christianity and people following their faith. Because people think, man, if I'm a Christian, if I fully devote my life to God, it's boring. They don't like to have no fun, and we just in church all day singing hymns, and I gotta wait on a Christian man and Christian woman. It's crazy, but I just feel like, what do you guys feel like is the misconceptions of being a Christian? Because a lot of people, they have they think we're boring, we don't like to have fun. Like, what are some misconceptions you would say is when it comes to like being a Christian or a Christian woman dating today?
You kind of hit on the head, kid. I mean, rules, man. There's, people feel like there's a lot of rules that you're gonna have to adhere to and kind of follow. When in all actuality, man, that's what, I don't know. To me, that's where the best life can be found, is when you are intentional, you're truthful. Because like I said, going back to what does that mean? I think it balance, harmony, reciprocity, love, peace. Who wouldn't want these things? And I think when they're presented in the right way, Christians sometimes can come off very very holy roly sometimes.
Man, the holy rollers.
And I think that's
another.
It's funny you mention that, because I overheard a woman say that, saying that she said she's a Christian woman and a man has to be a man of God, but she doesn't like the holy rollers. Was like, okay, did you pray today? Did you do this today? It's just so they so into it turns people off. It's just that sometimes when Christians can be so into it, they lose themselves.
That's what I was about to say.
So then it turns the person off from God a little bit, because they don't come off as authentic or as relatable. I know I had situations where I'm dating a woman that's into it, but it just came off kind of like, I don't know if I don't want no part of this. I mean, I get it, but I mean, there's levels to it. So I got a question for you guys. So, could you guys date or develop something with someone that's not as strong in your faith as you? Or would you say they have to really take their faith seriously, like you take your faith seriously? What did you guys' standpoint on that?
I'll go last, because I've spoken on this a lot. So,
I mean, I guess we'll cross boundaries as long as she ain't too far over, because I know I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So why miss out on a potential person that could be good for me because she's not super deep into it? Maybe there's ways we can talk, we can find common ground and convert each other into something. So I would say, I would be open. I mean, I would just find the levels. If if she is too far astray, then that could be something that maybe I could, part my ways with. So. Okay.
I overheard my sister say the other day, if a man is not strong in his faith, how is he supposed to lead me if his faith is not strong within God, then how can I trust him enough to lead me? And sometimes we don't look at it like that. I look at, because you look at God and having a relationship with him, you think, I have my own relationship, you have your own relationship, and we come together. But I thought that was very interesting for her to say that.
I think it just comes down to, for me, desire. Do you have a desire to want to go deeper? Because see, something about myself, I grew up in the church. My father's a pastor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've been in the church my whole entire life.
Okay.
There's a lot more about this or God that I may know more than maybe the average person may know. So for me to come into it and say, your spirituality, your knowledge of the Bible, your knowledge of God, your knowledge of this has to be where mine is or near mine, I think that would be unfair. So I think a lot of times it has to just come down to, do you have a desire to want to know? Do you have a desire to want to grow closer to God? Is that something you want to do? Because if there's desire, then it can be development. That's at least in my opinion. You know what I mean?
It's funny how it's so different for men than women, because you got a lot of men say that it's easier for you guys to say, like, you don't have to be close or whatever the case may be. But to your point, when a lot of women, we're looking at it as far as leading and it's spiritual maturity, I would say that's one misconception people have, is the whole perfect Nobody's perfect.
That's the truth.
Only Jesus was perfect, right? So, but if somebody is more spiritually mature or whatever in their evolving, as far as in their walk or whatever, that doesn't mean they think anything less than somebody. It's just where everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's path is different. Yeah. But it's okay for that woman or person to desire somebody that is equally yoked. And I love how my pastor had broke it down last year when he was talking. It was a singles conference, and he was like, we say you want to be equally yoked, thinking that just means within the same religion. But equally yoked, when you talk about the ox, it means they're the same size, they're the same attributes, because they're able to carry the ox, right? That's where they're coming from, an ox that carries the big thing, right? And so if you have somebody who is maybe more mature in their walk in different things, meaning they're fasting, they're praying, they're tithing, they're doing things where they always seek God when it comes to decisions, and you have somebody who maybe just got saved, and even though they're on fire for God, they just got saved, right? So and so they're taking steps to mature, because like you said, it's a lifestyle, and it comes with growth and experiences. And God has to really refine you, and you go through this sanctification process. So all of that comes with time. So there is going to be a difference if somebody, differently. You might not understand, okay, you should tithe, right? Or if that's what you believe. Or you might understand, like, if the person doesn't want to have sex until marriage, and you're like, no, but we're human. I've heard men say that all the time. Or we should live together. Oh, but we're human. We could do it, but you're not really understanding what this is, what the standard is. Because what I've experienced, and what I'm noticing, and what some other pastors have said, the closer we get to God, your standards and things are going to change. They're going to be tightened up. They're going to tighten up where your pool is going to be smaller. Because when you continue to get closer to God, and he's transforming you in your heart, you're going to want certain things, and you're going to see things like you're going to see yourself how God views us. You're going to understand why there are certain things. Is to protect us. Is not to say we can't have fun, because setting yourself apart and living for God is amazing. Yeah, there's nothing boring about it. It's so much.
And I'm glad you're speaking on that, because a lot of people have a perception. I'm in church all day. These church people are stuck up, or they're only stuck in the word, but they don't like to have fun. So it's good that you said that there's enjoyment in that as well.
Yeah, and it's not about being stuck in the church all day, because again, there's a lot of people who are in the church all day serving, and they don't know God. So that's
misconception.
That's the misconception that everybody in the church is a believer. No, that's not the case. I love how Randy said it before. The gate is narrow for a reason. If it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. And so that's why it's very hard to date in this modern world as a Christian, because you're setting yourself apart. You're being different. You're going against the grain. You're going against what society thinks is cool. That's why some people are scared to even admit that they're saving themselves for marriage. Or I know, because I personally knew some virgins, but they wouldn't tell people because they didn't want to be made fun of. More female than male. I have never met a male virgin, but at the same time, I'm sure there are male virgins. But can you imagine the look? Y'all laughing now? They don't want to say that.
No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. That's a fact.
So at the same time, when people who are striving to be real about this lifestyle and live holy and live for God, they get made fun of too. They get looked at, oh, you think you're better. No, this is where my heart is, because everything flows from our heart. What we do is from our heart. So our actions, everything, and renewing, I'll come back to renewing our mind daily, killing the flesh daily. Yes, everything is hard because we're always in our flesh. Yeah. But when you're in the spirit, it becomes easier. It becomes really easier.
Yeah, that's what it has to be a lifestyle. For
sure.
A
lifestyle.
But you touched on something that I wanted to ask you about, Keith, if it's okay.
Yeah.
You said about women being a man of God in order to lead. Do you feel like a man can only be a good leader or be able to lead a woman properly if he is a man of God?
No, I won't say that.
Okay. All right. I won't say that.
Okay. Because leadership, means different things.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is
But
fact.
I will
Okay.
say my
I just wanted
doctorate,
some
my
clarification.
doctorate is in management and organizational
Oh, okay.
leadership. So
All right.
I know all about leadership.
Okay.
But no, I won't say that. But I love what Keon's saying. That's why it's so different for women when we say we want somebody who's maybe more advanced in their